So in the last couple of sessions, we have done the second round. Means initial videos I have already had for US payroll, but now we are going to more details about it, few of the topics, right? So in the couple of sessions, we have covered last three sessions around tax fundamentals of US payroll once again, and the tax reporter part. What are the reports available? Those Form 941, 940, and all those stuff. Okay. More from a configuration point of view, we have focused. Okay. There are always a part, statutory part. Definitely, you have to understand those forms. What does this form do? Which is again from operational point of view, you have to definitely go to those government website from US federal website. You have to understand. But from a SAP point of view, what are there? We have covered there. Okay. And yesterday we have covered more technical side of the garnishment. And these are the upcoming topics, starting with claim handling, accrual will be taught. And this list will be, I will keep on adding. There are more topics. So for the next 1 week, we will be covering this many topics, but I will be adding more topics. Okay. I have a list with me. And based on that, whatever is technical in nature, mostly those questions are asked in interview, also important from a project point of view, that I'm going to cover. Okay. So with that note, let me go to, I'm focusing more on the system side of it in this scenario, but I will be also need your help. Okay, whenever you are working in your system or in a project or in a demo environment. Okay, if you prepare some data, it will be good actually. Okay, so because I do not have any data, so for that reason, there is some issues. I'm not able to execute those properly. Okay, which I will be needing from you. That is a kind of an assignment or an exercise for you in the upcoming days. So it is not, there is no deadline. So you just take your time, and whenever you can do it, you can do it. Okay. So now I will be directly going to this topic called claim. Okay. So what do you understand by claim? Anyone of you can tell what is a claim from a SAP point of view or overall? Hmm. When a claim is generated in SAP, is there any understanding from you?
Claim in the
Okay.
sense for suppose uh,
Hmm.
after so like submitting tax again we are going
Hmm.
to claim for return or something, right? Tax returns.
Hmm. Hmm. That means you have paid something extra which you would like to recover. Okay, that is from that
Yeah,
context.
recover.
Okay, recover that. Okay, so that's another way. Yeah, you are right, but in a different way. Okay, but here when I am saying it from a payroll point of view. Okay, whenever I'm saying a claim, right, it is a little different way. Okay, so let's say I'll be giving a scenario here. At present, I do not have that scenario in my system, but I'll be telling you the exact way. Whenever you are let's say a person has left the organization. Let's say the person has left the organization in the month of today is 20th April, right? So the person is leaving the organization on 20th of April. Okay. And due to some calculation, wrong miscalculation, the HR has some paid extra money. Okay, in US or India, whatever maybe. The claim process is remain the same, means the concept remains the same. Suppose you have paid some 50,000 extra or 70,000 US dollar, okay, extra, okay, by to due to some reason, okay, while doing the calculation wrong, okay. So definitely it is a loss for the company, and a company never wants to make that loss, so they would like to recover that amount from the employee, okay. But the employee has already left the organization, already full and final settlement is done. In US, the full and final settlement is much quicker compared to India, okay. So if it is already done, employee has already taken that amount. Okay, so how to claim that? Means in those cases, what you can do, basically, employee has to pay that amount. Okay, that is one way. Okay, they have to either they can pay in a single payment or they can do a through a 2 or 3 months, depending upon. Okay, so definitely employee, the person who has left the organization, he has to give that amount. This is one scenario. Okay, other scenario can be, let's say, if the employee is currently working in the organization, he's continuing, then it will be recovered in the upcoming months. Okay, so if he or she is a permanent employee or employee of the organization, then in that case, it will be processed from the upcoming months, they will be recovering. Employer will be recovering that amount in the upcoming days. Okay. So these are a couple of scenario. Okay. But now from a payroll point of view, so how do you process it? Okay, now we understood why claims are generated. Generally, overpayment happens due to some reason. Okay, in that case, it will be like they will be generating, means the HR department will be, they will be doing the retroactive calculations, and they will be recovering that amount from the system or from the SAP point of view. Okay, that they would like to create. Okay, that is something they have to create. Okay, so when it comes to the claims, right? So there are different wage types. Okay, so we will be seeing couple of type today. Okay, before we go for system, from system point of view. Okay, so let me go to the first. Let me open the system. So till now, any questions? Both of you?
Hi, NILADRI, I have one
Yes,
question.
yes.
This is means the company claim, but from whom? From the employee or the from means who is the system? Means from whom to claim?
Ha. So in this case, a company will be processing that because already they have paid the amount, right? So what they will do from a system point of view, they will be, company will be processing that claim. Okay, so there is a program. Okay, so there is a program where exactly using that program, you will be generating that claim, how much amount the employee has to give back. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so from
Mm-hmm.
that, then they will be sending a notification to the employee that
Okay.
because the employee has already left the organization in those
Yes.
scenario.
Yes.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
then through an email and all, but definitely they will be generating the same thing from a transparency point of view. They'll be doing that from a SAP, and as well as once it is done, then they will be sending that notification to the employee, and after that they will be processing that. Okay, so this is something SAP provides that facility. Okay, so you will be
Mm-hmm.
getting those details in SAP as well. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that is something we do directly whenever we do the claim processing, and that is a purely, we have a standard functionality here. Okay, so I'm just checking it out from this portal. I know the T code directly, but I'm just checking how we'll be going from here. There is an option. Okay, so it is not a tilt to tax actually. So this is something related to your directly there is a report. Okay, so IMG for, okay, so before we go there, so basically this is, okay, this is through an SPRO, not from here actually. So basically you have to, these are all different reports specific to US payroll. If you can see, you can try. Okay, but when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to your it will be available in the SAP EG Access info system, all the reports. Okay, but when it comes to the claim processing, there is a report. So report where we execute SC38. Okay, so there is a report called RPCLM SU0. Okay, so this is a report we use. This is a standard report again. Okay, whenever you are having this kind of a report, if you execute, it will be very simple. Okay, if you execute, it is saying claim processing. Okay, so simply you have to select your for which period you want to, suppose that employee has left the organization current month. Okay, so simply you run the current month. Okay, and for that particular person, okay, and payroll area, you enter it,
Okay.
then simply process it. Okay, so at present I do not have any data as such. Okay,
Okay.
so anyway, but once we, in upcoming days, okay, so we will be using this maybe as an exercise. Okay, that so that you will be able to execute the claim processing, okay, through this particular report. Okay, this is a standard report. You don't have to do anything as such. Okay, so this is a standard report where which is used for your any kind of claim processing, and it will be generate that amount, how much amount you want to recover from the employee. Okay, so this is
Okay.
one report, and there is another report which I will be saying, that is this is for claim processing. Okay, suppose there is some there is another report called overpayment. Suppose any overpayment is happening, another way of it, RPCSLM. So there is you have to recover in the same. Okay, so this is something. Another report is there. If you execute it, this is suppose the person is already existing in the organization. Through an upcycle, you can also recover that. Okay, so this is an upcycle reason. Through an upcycle reason, you can recover that amount. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
same similar screen only, but here we have an upcycle option. Okay, and the
Mm-hmm.
claim report setting, there is an info type 909. Okay, and you can select that as well. Okay, so based on that, whatever is needed. Okay, so that you can. This is just to remember. This is a to report. At present, we do not have a data as such in our system. Okay, but in the future, I'm expecting. Okay, once we have good data. Okay, we can play around this to report. How does this to report? This is an upcoming exercise, maybe for you. You can try. Okay, so these are
Okay.
the two reports I just thought of sharing with you, which we use for overpayment or any kind of a claim we are having to handle those. Okay, so now we will be going a little bit deep. Okay, so from a configuration point of view, what to do. Now we have seen the front end operational side of it, how what an HR has to do, that we have understood. Now we will try to understand from a configuration point of view what you have to do. Okay, so I will go to the SAP SPRO US Payroll. Let me go to the payroll US Payroll, Payroll USA. And here we have something called, you can see, one is overpayment recovery. There is a set of configuration. Okay. And there is another set of configurations you will be finding here that will be under, I'm just checking it out. Just a minute. Payroll calendar, reporting. And here we have something called claim processing. Can you see that? Claim processing, right? So these are the three programs, or these are three nodes where exactly you can modify your standard schema. Okay, for US, and these three things only valid for USA. Okay, these three things for claim processing, and similarly for overpayment, whatever it is happening. So these are the six configurations we have to do if you want to do a recovery of that amount. Okay, so you can see these are all valid for USA only. Okay, so not applicable
These
for
six,
any.
yeah, Niladri, these six configurations and the another thing, three reporting point of view.
Yes,
Nine
yes. Suppose
configurations we have
nine
to.
configuration.
Okay.
Yes, yes. These nine configurations you have to do. Okay, so I will just go line by line. So let's start with the overpayment recovery. Okay.
Okay.
So if you go here, activate overpayment recovery. Okay, so here what we have to do, whenever we are going to this particular thing. Okay, so this is a typical table. Okay, so where we have all kind of, you might be aware of this table, right? Which is all the switches are here. Okay, so what we need to do here,
ये pluggy और
uh, yes, yes.
integration of
So if you,
OM and
yes,
PA.
yes, yeah, exactly. So where you might have aware of, you might be aware of. So if you see this particular, if you're familiar, right? So all
Yes.
these integrations, this is the same table, pluggy organ, where we do a integration switch between OMPA, right? The same table which you actually utilized for your, suppose I want to search for this thing, okay? That is, this will be coming under, okay? There are 1,065 entries, right? So if you search, let me search here for overpayment because I just forgot that code. Overpayment, oh, I think overpayment, something like this. Let me search for it. If it is coming, well and good. Otherwise, I will be telling which one is the latest over. This is something over. They generally do not give country specific. Okay. So here, if I go here, overlapping person subject grouping, switch for overqualification, valuation of overqualification, error message, check for overlaps. This is related to the time. Okay. So there will be a just a minute. Otherwise, let me check it out. What is that? There is a configuration here only. No. So let me check that particular overpayment functionality. This is your CCURE. Just a minute. Whenever you are activating it, okay, so you have to check there is a switch called uh, master data CCURE. Just a minute. CCURE. Just a minute. Group name is, let me check if anything is coming up. Okay, so this is a series of hmm, activation. Okay, huh. This is activation switch CCURE NWCLM. NWCLM. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, new claim. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, so this entry should be there. Actually, we do not have any explanation for this here in the description. You can write it down. It's blank generally. Okay, another one is this is the nick for claim. Okay, another one, I think this is the, yeah, this is the new overpayment if you are doing, and this is the way, if it is there, you will be able to check it out. Okay, this entry should be there whenever you are configuring. At least you should be seeing that this entry is there. Okay, another one is this is okay, so start date of CE payroll. Okay, so this is something CCURE PAYUS. Okay, so at present do not have, I think, let's see there if there's any documentation. I don't think any documentation will be, yeah, we have a documentation, yeah. So you can use the switches of the CCURE group to activate functions of, if any, there is any concurrent employment or any management of global employees or use of any external person ID. Ideally, this is used for these three things. Okay. But here in this our scenario, under CCURE, new claim, that is for our, if any overpayment is happening, it is used for that reason. Okay. But in some cases, some other scenario, whenever I'm saying CE, right? So wherever you're seeing the CE, that is your concurrent employment. Okay. What do you understand by concurrent employment in general, not specific to HR, SAP HR? Any idea? Any of you? What is a concurrent employment?
No
Okay,
idea.
then I'm answering that. So basically, it may happen a person is working in a two different projects, okay, and in a two different entities of the same group, okay. So it may happen the person is, it is like working in a two different companies at the same time. If it is the entities are too different, okay, in those cases, what SAP will be understanding. So this is an exercise for you, both of you, to learn more about concurrent employment. Okay, you will be finding a lot of materials. Okay, but it is not very common in every organization, but it may happen. Okay, the same person is working into different entities of the same group of organizations. So, in suppose I'll be talking about it from a Tata in India, India point of view. Okay, so let's say somebody has been working in Tata Steel as well as Tata Power. Okay, and he is a kind of a consultant. Okay, he is giving a consulting service to both this company. Okay, he's a group of Tata employees, but in those cases, if the company wants, uh, he means from that point of view, he will be having now a two employment. Okay, concurrent employment. Okay, at the same time, he's working to different entities of the same group of organizations. Okay, so in that case, we call it as a concurrent employment. So in SAP also supports those kind of scenario. Okay, it is not very common. Hmm. But in US and all, it may happen. In India also, so some companies I have seen that do support. Okay, so in those cases, to handle those kind of scenario, SAP has given this kind of option. Okay, so like they have given CE payroll, concurrent employment payroll, because they will be having a separate kind of a payroll. Okay, because they may be paid in different organizations. How it is processed. Okay, so those kind of scenario, SAP has provided this okay CCURE, this group, and for our scenario, when it comes to overpayment and all, they have given this particular switch. Okay, so generally, this is the only thing we have to utilize, and here we do not have to as such. If you have values as well, you can see. Let me open. Okay, if you want to activate it, definitely you have to make it just like any activation. You have to make it yes. That means you have to put it as an X. That means it will be activated. So at present, I have not done activated. So simply I have to put it X here, so that this new claim functionality, it will be activated. Okay, so this is something we have to do. Okay, so that is something we can do, and I will just make a new TR saying it is a overpayment, or let's say claim functionality in US payroll. Okay. So today is the 19th, right? 20th April. Okay. So this TR will be now saved. Okay. This is one of the thing, okay, we have to do, and which is your one of your known table. After doing this, second step is configure rules framework for overpayment recovery, because now we have activated. What is the next step? Next step is you have to configure the rules for overpayment recovery. So what kind of, how you are going to recover? Okay, so that you have to put it, those entries. There are a couple of steps here, okay, which you have to perform. Enter minimum wage for states and assign wage type priority, define threshold rules and forgiveness, define conditional for rule, define rule assignment criteria, assign threshold rule to the criteria. Okay, so I will just put in some entries here. So here what I can do in this scenario, okay, so this is a table where I can enter, because in US we have a lot of regions. Okay, based on the regions we can have different calculations, right? So here this is not directly relevant for it, okay, but I will just make some entries for your convenience. Okay, so the start date, okay, so this is actually not related to this, what our overpayment or claim, but this is something you can also configure. Like, you have to understand what is the minimum, because this is statutory thing also. Most of the states or region, you will be having some minimum wage rate, okay, for a particular state. Okay, so that we have to configure here. Okay, so this is although it is not directly related, okay, but I will just entering those details. Okay, this is something, and this is 3112 and you can put for 9 for now. And here I can may put minimum wage rate for hours, maybe it is 20 US dollar. Okay, so this is something you can do. And other than that, assign wage type priority. So here you can also give your whatever wage types you are already configured for US payroll, okay, specific to your claim or whatever. Okay, then you can give those wage types a priority. Like, which, suppose you are having 2 to 3 wage types, okay, which wage type will be priority? But these are not very
Niladri,
important for.
uh,
Yes, tell me.
Niladri, sorry to interrupt you. I have a
Yeah,
question here. Actually,
yeah.
minimum wage rate for states, I think these
Hmm.
are different for every state.
Yes, this is different for different states. So that I'm just put a random amount here, but ideally it will be, you'll be having those details from your statutory, means for
Mhm,
different region you will be
mhm,
getting that rate from the government website of US. Okay, labor
mhm,
law and all. So you'll be getting that details here. And also you have to your HR will be providing that. Okay, whenever you'll be doing this kind of a configuration, so you don't have to worry. This entry, this data you'll be getting for every region, okay, in US. Okay, you will be
mhm,
having separate amount. Here you can see New York, Nevada, New Jersey. For every location or for every region, you'll be having a separate value for it. So this value will be getting from HR, and or anybody who is working in the legal side, or okay, who has idea. So you will be getting those details. You have to take those from them. You don't have to configure of your own. So after getting those data, okay, whatever state is applicable for your company, that you have to set it up here. Okay, so that is the only thing. Okay, got it?
okay, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So welcome. So now coming to assign wage type priority, whatever the wage type you are having, you have already created for US. Okay, at present, I don't think I have anything specific to here. Okay, but if I'm having some specific wage type for US payroll, what I can do, okay, so I can select that particular wage type and choose here. Suppose I'm getting only here 500 inputs only. Let me check. Okay, I'll put in the maximum number, hit here like this. Then I can see there are 2,400 wage types plus wage types are there. So which are my US specific? I can also again towards the, because these are all secondary wage type, as I say earlier. Okay, we do not use directly them. Okay, for US, these are the mostly M001, M002. These are the most common. These are the model wage type I'm saying. But directly we do not use. We generally copy this wage types. Okay, and whenever you will be configuring, ideally you should copy this and you directly uh, copy the wage types you have to utilize. Okay, so you can see the garnishment. Yesterday we have discussed all these model wage types for garnishment. Okay. Similarly, there are so many wage types for all the model wage types. Similar, you can directly utilize them. So for the time being, okay, I will be, let's say I'll be using one of the thing directly, but ideally you should not use this recovery. Okay, recovery or balance, whatever I'm using like this. Okay, but ideally you should copy this and use your copied wage types. Okay, and so here I'll be putting, let's say the start date is 1/1/2023 and 31/12/99. So suppose I'm having 2 to 3 waste types. Okay. So you have to tell to the system which is the priority one waste type. Suppose you are having 2 waste types. Okay. Related to the recovery. Then which one to be used? Okay. And that kind of system priority you have to tell to the system. Okay. Suppose I'm having MD60. Another one is, let's say, similar kind of waste types for that particular type. Okay. Let me go there in that series related to over time payment and all. So let me scroll down again. Again, that series. Let me check it out. Some additional or severance fee, donation, market price, computer loan. So all these are, you can see, all are available. Miscellaneous area recovery. Okay, let me choose this one as a second priority. Okay, so I can choose this way. Okay, but again, this will be your typical project. This will be a like custom waste types. You do not have to use the standard one. Okay, this is my second priority. This is the way we assign the waste type priority in our system. Okay, so I'll be using the same TR transport request. So after doing this, there is something called define threshold rule and forgiveness. Okay, so you might be thinking, what is a threshold rule and what is a forgiveness? Okay, so here what they do, so you can have your own rule here, and you can define, you can give a forgiveness also. There's a concept called forgiveness. Okay, so it is just like, say, let's say it's just a one US dollar or two US dollar, some due to some calculation. Okay, so for that some small amount you may ignore. Okay, so you can see it's just about $0.5 what to do again. Okay, so let's forgive that amount. Okay, so in that case, if you want to configure that, okay, you can choose. Okay, so let's say this is will be my forgiveness amount. And what I will do, I will simply enter a code like it is a forgiveness FZ01 forgiveness amount. And this is a, let's say it is a total forgiveness. Okay, I will be in that case, let's say for me in US, whenever I'm working in a US payroll, let's say up to $5 I can excuse. Okay, so that is something I can tell. I will say forgiveness up to 5 USD. Okay, so this is something I will say. This is a total forgiveness. Okay, and I think I will choose total forgiveness and the start date here. I will be putting. So from a configuration point of view, let me start from 2023. And suppose somebody has been terminated in the before year, before 2023, that will not be applicable. Okay, only for this year onwards, I can do it here like this. Okay, so I have just put it here like this. Okay, so they're saying maximum amount field only valid for total forgiveness. Okay, for small amounts. Okay, so what I will do, I will be choosing this one only because this is something they have set it up. Okay, so let me try this. Yeah, so total, this is a small amount actually. Okay, so now if I'm giving a total forgiveness, I don't have to enter any amount. Okay, so let me try that as well. Okay, so this is one entry. Okay, so we can do. So now you can also write a condition. So I have written a rule now for the forgiveness. Okay, threshold rule and forgiveness. Now for that particular rule, I have to also define the rule. Now I have to mention the which wage types will be applicable for this kind of a code or for this kind of a forgiveness. Okay, so I have to make a new entries here. So here the criteria, I think this is not configured in my system. Okay, criteria, rule criteria. Okay, but again, so here what I can do, I think it is not there. I have to check it out. So here what I can do, so here the waste type I have to maintain which waste type to be applicable for this particular code amount, and here I'll be mentioning $5 and the operation. That means it will be a minus. That means it will be, if it is a plus, it will be recover, like you have to recover that amount, or otherwise if employee has to give that amount to the employer has to give that amount to the other way around. Okay, accordingly you have to choose your this sign. Okay, how the waste type has been configured, whether it is a positive waste type or negative waste type. Okay, accordingly you have to choose your operations here. Okay, so this is something, okay, we use here. Okay, so we write this rule and we have to this is not your typical schema kind of a rule. This is just at a configuration level we do. Okay, so this is something we do at a, we can do for any specific threshold rule or a forgiveness. Okay, what kind of rule we can. Then after doing that, you can define those rules for a, from a searching point of view. Okay, you can also make a new entry here. What kind of criteria? What kind of, okay, priority? So this is again you can configure here. I'm not doing that now. Okay, but I'm just touching upon what are the points we do have. So after doing that, you can assign that rule to a criteria, whatever criteria you will be setting it up. Okay, so this is something just I have given an overview of it. But once we have a data and all in the upcoming days, okay, maybe we can come back again. We will see all these things. But this is again. I have not seen every organization do this configuration. Okay, generally they have their own way of recovering and all, but it's always do it from the SAP because SAP has given these options. And when I started, it was not directly there. I think somewhere around after a period of time, SAP has created this functionality. Okay, so but this is you should be aware of it. Okay, this is a facility which is given. Okay, in SAP from a configuration point of view. Okay, so this you should be able to tell in an interview process and as well as whenever you'll be working in a project. This is the kind of a rule framework. Okay, SAP has given these options where exactly you can do all the configuration. Okay, so this is something. This is the second configuration I'm just touching upon. Third part is defining payroll constant. Okay, so this is an common thing you might have seen in the Indian payroll as well. We do have a series of constant. So here what we do for a country grouping 10, that is an US payroll, if I go inside it. So how much, so all the, you can see there are around 76 entries. Okay. And for every country, for every states in US again, this is you might have seen in the payroll parameter. We have, these are the different constant value we maintain. Okay, so here from a, so if you see for some of the countries, so for some of the states, okay, we have a threshold value. This is a rule framework. Okay, this is the, and when it is switched on, okay, it will read your info type 909 if that is existing. Okay, this constant, and if the switch is on, okay, for this, okay, and it will read your fast and will bypass the rules framework configuration. If the switch is off, only way to recovery of overpayment would occur is through info type 909. So there is a dedicated info type 909 which is used for any kind of recovery if you want to do it. Okay, so if you have not switched on this functionality, that means, so there is an option here. Okay, so that means for this particular constant AUTCL, okay, what I have done, I have selected one here. Okay, what does it mean? So the information says if it is switched on, that means the value is 1, right? Then it will read your threshold value automatically. And if the 909 exists, it will read fast and it will bypass the rule. Whatever the rules we have seen in the previously, if the 901 is there, okay, then it will bypass the rules. Rather, it will consider this one. If the switch is off, that means it is only 0. Okay, it is nothing is mentioned. Then it will be happening your overtime, whatever the recovery, it will be happening through your info type 909 only. Okay, so that is the only thing you have to consider here. So I'll take a pause here. If you understood this or not, let me know.
Hello, yeah, Niladri.
Yeah, tell me.
Please again, can you please once again explain
Huh.
this
Screen
AUTCL?
is screen is visible, right? My screen is
Yes,
visible, right?
yes.
Okay. So I'll explain again. If you are maintaining one, that means it is switch on. Recovery, so it is, what does it, this payroll constant says? Recover overpayments without consent. Okay. So you do not need any consent for this particular parameter. Okay. And what does this object says? That if this switch is on, okay, then the rules framework will read to determine the threshold values. Okay. That means the overpayment, whatever the configuration we have seen in the earlier node, okay, it will take care, it will be taken care by that configuration. Okay, if it is one or if it is switch on, okay, and if it is switch off, okay, then the rule will not work. Okay, that means suppose whatever I suppose I'm not mentioning anything here. Okay, in that case, even if you have configured, okay, the previous one, the second step, that means whatever you have configured in the rule framework, it will not work. That means because we have not switched on this particular configuration, particular node actually, particular constant. Okay, then how the recovery will happen? Suppose if you want to do this through an info type, okay, there is a 909 info type. Okay, using that, it will be means the recovery will happen. Okay, if you might be asking why there is a separate info type, because in for US they have created a such a kind of a scenario. Okay, but if it had been in India, because we do not have such kind of a programs, okay, definitely we can simply create an OS type, and through if the person is existing in the system, we can recover using a input type, either in a off cycle or it is using our input type 15. Okay, using that we can do it. But for US, this is very specific. They have created a separate program for them, and using that you will be able to recover that amount, this 909. Okay, and using that you will be able to do that recovery from the system itself. So just very simple. If it is switch on, that means the value is 1. Okay, then the previous configuration will work. That means this one, configuration rule framework for overpayment recovery. Through that, it will be working. Okay. If it is not, if it is 0 or if it is blank, okay, then it is switched off. Okay. From then, the system will take care via your directly through the info type for 909. Okay. If this is off, only way to recovery of overpayment would occur is through the info type 909. So directly through the info type 909, you will be able to recover that amount. Is it clear now?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Yeah, welcome. So I think there is a program. I think this program, whether, yeah, the same program which I will be showing you repeating again. Let me go there. So that will be in the EG access menu itself. So here, if I go, I think, let me go to the main EG access menu, start SAP EG access, user menu. So there is a transaction which I have told to you, right? I think, yeah, that's a minute. Let me check. So I have not used that transaction. Just a minute. No, here it is not there. What I will do, user menu, SAP menu, I will go, and from that I can check. So there is a path also which I was about to explain. Payroll US, payroll US, payroll, let's see, America, US. Then after that payroll, actually there was a program here. Yeah, this is the which I was telling. CLMR. This is the PC00 M10. For US, everything is M10. Okay, mostly. Other than that, these few things. Okay. So if you go here, M10 calculation, this is a normal payroll simulation, payroll release you will be doing. But for overpayment recovery, this is the program CLMR, okay, which I was already telling you. Okay. So which you can directly use for an existing employee. You can see that there is something called claim report setting. Okay. So if you want to create info type 909 for that particular, or if you want to delimit, okay, suppose somebody has already cleared, okay, the claim has been already cleared, overtime has been already cleared. Okay, you can also delimit. Okay, whether you want to create or delimit based on the scenario, you can choose your specific checkbox here. Okay, so this is a program we have to use whenever you are doing this kind of a calculations. Means you are doing any kind of overpayment or a claim, you are doing it. Okay, so this is something you have to run. This program you have to run in your front end. Okay, so that is something you have to understand. Okay, now coming to our wage type. Okay, so I will go back to our wage types. So where we see this wage type, let me go to SM30 V underscore 512 W underscore D. So a couple of wage types used to be familiar, which are specifically used for payment, overtime payment, sorry, overpayment balance and all. There are certain wage types which should be familiar. Okay, so that is your slash 580 is one of that. So slash 580, this is your overpayment balance. Okay, and these are series of wage types. Okay, which is generally automatically created. Okay, whenever you are doing this kind of a processing. 580, 581, 580 slash. So you do not confuse with an Indian those info types, Indian payroll. These are something secondary wage types. Slash 580, slash 581, slash 582, then 58 slash 583, 8 plus 584, up to 585. Okay, these are 5, 6 ways, secondary wage types. Okay, if you want to learn directly, I think it's in documentation. Yeah. So how the calculation will be happening, they have clearly, very clearly explained. So what you can do as a tax, as an till the time we have a data and all. Okay. For the time being, conceptually, understand the 6 ways type. Okay. Suppose somebody will be asking, maybe in an interview point of view. Okay. This is very important. So these are a couple of ways types where you'll be understanding the nuances. What are the different implications, okay, happens whenever you are processing this overtime claims and all. Okay, so here in this case, this last 580, it will be indicating that there is an overpayment recovery scenario. That means the amount that is yet to be recovered from the employee. Okay, suppose somebody has asked in a project, or whether the person is having overpayment or not. Okay, then directly you can go to the results table and you can search for this particular register. This is tips whenever if you are working in a support project. Okay, so if the the employee goes to employer a certain amount, wage type contains last 580 contains the exact balance that is to be recovered from the employee. Okay, if it is not existing after processing your that overpayment or claim and all, right, that means there is no recoverable amount from the employee. If this wage type is existing in employee, okay, for an employee in his or her results table, that means that overpayment balance to be actually to be recovered from the employee. Okay, so this is the way technically you can go and check this. Okay, if it is existing, if there is a recoverable amount, okay, from the employee, this wage type will be created. Okay, this is a slash 580. Similarly, we do have after recovery, so you will be getting the wage type slash 581. Suppose you have already recovered. Okay, so you can see in if it is already has been recovered from the employee, okay, that will be populated in the slash 581. Okay, so what will happen in here in this scenario? A corresponding amount is deducted from the employee's gross. Okay, if the employee is already existing in the organization in accordance with their configuration, whatever you have configured, right? And it will be recorded in the info type 909. Okay, and the total amount, whatever you are recovering from this process, it will be populated the corresponding waste types. Okay, so this is something we have to see. And the cluster, which is I'm saying here, HRCCE underscore VC underscore RULEFR. Okay, this is a view. If I want to say check it out here, it is the same thing which you have just seen earlier. Okay, so if I go to SM30 slash SM30 and HRCCE, let me search for it. It is existing. HRCCE. Just a minute. I think this is the one. VC underscore rule FR. VC underscore rule FR. I think some other name might be. It is not a table, but let me check it out. Okay. I think it could be maybe the table name might be a little different. It's a cluster name. Okay. So let me check it out in some way. Otherwise, let me put some star. So this one I will check it out. It may be some other name, some other name. I will just check it out. How does it look like? But ideally, this is, if you see here, okay, so this is a cluster actually, not a table. Okay, I will be checking it out. But the same thing will be available in your recovery info type 909. Okay, once you start recovering this amount, okay, this will be populated in the 581. And which function populates this? When from a US payroll schema point of view, okay, so inside the US payroll schema, there is a function called US claim, USCLM. Okay, so this function inside our US payroll, okay, U000, that is a standard schema for US payroll. If the function, if you want to see where you need to go, /NPE, which transaction? I've already told earlier, 0. Did you remember?
No.
04. Okay. So this is where we can check our function. It is applicable universally for every country payroll. Okay. So if I go to for check it out the function USCLM, okay. If I go to display, okay. So this function is used for US overpayment processing and recovery. So this function is very important. Okay. You may be asked a question in interview, right? If they are going deep, okay. Otherwise not. Okay. If somebody will be asking which functions, if you can remember, okay. So you will see only US will be ticked here. Okay. If I go here, this is only applicable for this function is only applicable for USA, and this is a standard. Okay. You don't have to do anything. Okay. Directly. Okay. So if you see here in this function, okay. So parameter for USCLM, this is used, okay, USCLM, okay, and this is a parameter here. And if you see here the info types, because I think there is no such info type. So input parameter, output parameters are important here. So if I go here, what are the input parameter? So these are the different input parameter for this particular functions, okay. So these are the different tables actually they utilize for this, like results table, output results table, clean person, output, all the results table. These are the different input parameter, input objects for this function. And from output parameter point of view, these are the different output parameter. Claim, your results table, all this, okay, claim person, all those things you will be finding here. Okay. So this is a more technical side of it. Okay, but this is something important one. These functions is used for your claim. Okay. So overpayment and claim processing. Okay. So now after understanding this, so this I will recommend this documentation at least you should be familiar. Okay. Should be aware of it. Okay. So I think I went to a different one. Let me go there. Function operation, edit table. Okay. So I have to go there to that particular table /n sm30 basically the 512w_d. Okay, so this is where I will be seeing all of my waste types related to overpayment and all. So we have already covered /580, 581. So next one we will be seeing prior year overpayment. Okay, maybe in the previous year it was already some overpayment happened and you realized after a long time. Okay, so in that case you will be using /582. Okay, so all the previous, suppose you have already crossed the tax years. Okay, in that case you will be using, means this waste type will be taking care of that. If in this scenario the balance is crossed tax year. Okay, if it is happening in the same tax year, 581 /581. Okay, if it is happening over the cross tax year, okay, so in that case you will be not utilizing, rather system will generate this for you. You don't have to manually do it because these are secondary waste types. Okay, so in that case whatever the recovery will happen, okay, it will be happening via this /582. Okay, so this is something you have to understand. Okay, So this is a non-taxable deduction wage type, which will be recovered again in the upcoming year. Okay, so this is a prior year. For any prior year overpayment is happening, this will be utilized. Okay, so in case if you're forgiving, so let's say you have the forgiving some amount for an employee. Okay, it is $1 US dollar, $2 US. Okay, in those cases, if you want to forgive it, then that amount also system has to understand. Even if you have given a forgiven, right? The system will record that in this wage type doesn't necessarily correspond to the overpayment amount, because the employer may forgive either the entire overpayment or only portion thereof. Suppose it's only $5 US, $10 US, the company may forgive it. Okay, or let's say if it is $100 US, an employee is say $1,000 US, and company is saying at least the employee has to give 990 or 950, like that. Okay, so in those cases, if in case if you're forgiving whatever the amount, okay, that forgiven amount will be populated here in this slash 583. Okay, so I have not seen many companies they forgive. Generally, they recover everything. Nobody wants to lose, right? So what it is a very small amount, $1 US, $5 US. Generally, it depends upon how rich is that company. Okay. So next one is amount overpaid. Okay, so here in slash 581, what it will do, in majority of your overpayment recovery scenario, this wage type will be present in the retroactive payroll run. Okay, because again, because suppose something you are changing, it will be running a retroactive. Okay, and it to detect, because whenever you'll be running this kind of a recovery program, the overpayment will be always detected in the previous payroll. Okay, so in those cases, the slash 584 will be present in the retroactive payroll run. Okay, so this is also you have to understand. Suppose in case if you're doing some analysis, you have to search for this 584. Okay, so whenever is any issue is coming up, right? Generally, we utilize all of this waste types, whatever based on a scenario. Okay, which scenario, which waste types will be generated. Okay, and slash 585, if some in the previous period. Okay, in the previous period, okay, if it is something there. Okay, the let's say in this scenario, the balance of the overpayment in the previous payroll run, whatever the remainder of the overpayment amount that employee has yet to repay. So let's say you are having $1,000 overpayment and you are not doing in one go. Okay, in first month, let's say in the month of May, you are doing let's say 200. In the June, you are doing another 200. So in those scenario, actually, the this waste type will detect what kind of precise amount is the remaining, what was recovered and what is remaining. Okay, so those kind of scenario, it will be recorded in this particular waste type slash 585. Okay, so these are the 5-6 waste types I just thought of sharing with you. Okay, from an overpayment point of view, you have to understand. Okay, so now what SAP is saying here. So you have to utilize all the standard functionality, whatever we have discussed today. Okay. So this will be utilized if any case you are having any kind of overpayment and all, right? So this is we have to utilize. Okay. So this is something uh, directly we use. We do not have to create any separate new waste type, just like in the other country. Okay. SAP provides all its entire framework. Okay, for US payroll specific to that. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, so you have to just utilize those functionalities and accordingly you have to whatever the configurations and all, right? So you have to follow. Okay, so this is what we have discussed here in this particular third configuration. Okay, so now the fourth one is defining overpayment wage type grouping. Okay, so this is a simple one. Okay, so here exactly what we do. Suppose you are having a set of wage types, okay, which are specific for overtime. Okay, so that you group together. Okay, for your information. Okay, you can just mention these are the overtime overpayment wage type grouping. Whatever the wage type you are having. At present, we have not created any wage types for overtime and accrual. Okay, so you can simply create that and just for your information, you can group them together here. Okay, so this is something okay you can do. Then next one is activate error for permissibility on info type 909. Okay, what does it mean? Suppose I'm doing this activity. Okay, suppose I'm making a new entries here. Let's say country grouping. This will be definitely US. The 10. Okay. And here, what are the options I do have? Okay. So based on your, because it's a US, right? So overpayment, okay, grouping distribution. This is something. Check waste type permissibility for info type 909. Okay, because info type 909 is again similar to your 15 or 14, whatever we are having. So which waste types will be just like we do if you have remembered in Indian payroll or any country payroll, whenever we are defining a waste types, we give a permissibility, right? This waste types will be permissible under this particular info type. Let's say 14, 15, or 8. Then only those info types you can, and sorry, the waste types you can enter under that particular info type. Okay. But similarly, for overpayment, suppose we've already created a waste type. Okay. So here we define that under 909, which types of waste type will go and sit there. Okay. So that we define here. So this is the overpayment options, and here we detail, okay, we give that particular okay, whether we have to give it a permission, whether you are to give a permission or not. Okay, so suppose if you're not given a permission, whether it will be showing an error or warning, okay, or whether you do not want to check also, that is up to you. Okay, depending upon the scenario, okay, you can enter this value here in the, you can modify a value here, and here accordingly you can set it up. Okay, so this is something. Suppose if you want to do an error handling, okay, of that, what kind of, whether you want to give a permissions or not, okay, that you'll be doing here in this particular configuration. Okay, 909. Okay, the last one is here. This is I have not used much, okay, but it is similarly. Suppose if you want to create a logic for overpayment for all kind of grouping and distributions and all, okay, you can utilize this again for overpayment. Okay, you can use OBPZD, this distribution, and you can utilize the specific modifier here. Okay, then you enter. I have not used this one much, okay, but this is good to have. Okay, not mandatory. Okay, but whatever configurations, or 6 configurations we have seen, these are done usually for any kind of overpayment recovery. So I understand that is present, we do not have data in the system, or if you might be having your system, in your system you are having the data and all, okay, you can try and do some testing around it, because we are now learning more from a configuration point of view. Okay, but to explain to, you'll be understanding more once you have the data and you process these things in your system. Okay, then you'll be understand. So these are the 6 things we had in the overtime. And from a claim processing, this reporting point of view, these are the 3 things we have. Okay, so this is the schema, okay, or I can say sub schema under US payroll, UCLM. Okay, this is the sub schema which is used for your calculation of your claim. Okay, so if you see, this is a standard schema. Again, if you are organization who wants to do something, okay, simply you copy this and create your own custom schema. Okay, and then in the final US payroll schema, you can utilize that. What are the changes you'll be doing? Okay, you can do the changes here. So you can see how the flow. You don't have to remember all these things, the parameter and all, but understand the flow, the algorithm or the logic behind it. Okay, for this claim processing, how does it happen? Okay, so first of all, it will be initializing of your payroll. It will check your basic data. Okay, it will be importing your previous payroll results, gross remuneration, everything. Then here in it will calculate your whatever the accumulation, okay, gross accumulation and tax processing, everything. Then in the below section, okay, the most important part here, okay, it will be checking all the things, okay, like your garnishment, taxes, okay, or your net calculations, okay, everything it will calculate, okay. Then again, finally, it will be doing the processing part, okay. So these are the different steps for your this is the schema which is used for typical claim processing. Okay, so this is something standard one again. Okay, if any changes required for your organization, you can always modify it. Then similarly, suppose if you want to modify the standard payroll driver variant, okay, so that you can utilize here. This is a program. Okay, this is a standard program. Okay, and if you want to execute it, it's the same thing. It's a divert program which I was telling. Okay, and if you want to, let's say, execute with a variant, same thing, you have to choose your variant from here. At present, I think I do not have, but maybe some variant, whatever you'll be creating here. Let's say this is the one variant I'm using, standard variant. Okay, SAP UCLM. Okay, so you can see directly the schema, you can see directly the particular payroll area. This is a schema for only for that. You can utilize that for processing claim. Okay, And also you have a standard feature. Okay, so there is a feature called CLM-PC. Okay, this is a feature we generally use for any kind of a claim processing reporting. Okay, so this is a standard one you can utilize. Okay, so this is where you can process your claim using this report. Okay, so ideally these are all standard thing. Okay, mostly in US payroll, the easiest part is everything is standard mostly. Okay, only thing is you have to understand the wage type, the basic stuff. It's not like your Indian payroll. Okay, where in US most of these are standard. Only thing is all the small things you have to understand. In case if an organization has done some customization, you have to ask when during a support project, in case of support project. Otherwise, these are the only 9 things we do have. 6 things inside your overpayment recovery, backend configuration, and couple of things here in the from a reporting point of view. These are the 3 things we do have, all in your specifically for your overpayment calculation, claim calculation. Okay, these are something we do have. And also when it comes to the, I think yesterday I have said that already there in the US payroll that guide which I'm referring. So that SAP Press book, if you go there, it will be available in the advanced topics chapter number 9. Okay, so that is something if you can refer. Okay, I will recommend go through that. And there is around same things which I have discussed today that you'll be finding there. Okay, so those are the 6 configuration here and 3 things there. Total 9 things you have to see when it comes to the overpayment as well as the claim processing section. Okay, so with that note, so we couldn't complete the accrual part. Accrual we will be seeing in the tomorrow session. So today only we have seen claim handling for overpayment. Okay, so this is something we have seen today. Okay, so I'll just make a note of it. So I'll take a pause here. I know this is something little overwhelming because we couldn't test all the things. Okay, but from a conceptual understanding point of view, from a configurations point of view, these are the things you have to remember. Okay, so this is something you can also check in your system. Okay, because these are something unless and until if you work in a live project, 100% you cannot see all the things. Okay, even if you are having a data, right? Okay, you may not see everything 100%. Okay, so this is something I will say. You just go through the system. Okay, and prepare some data if possible, and accordingly you can also check those respective wage types and all that. That will be my advice. So now I will take a pause. Any questions, last comments you have? At least if you understood 50-60% also, this is fine for me for now. Okay, so I know this is a little not so difficult, but that's something you have to check in your system as well. Any questions?
NILADRI, can I
Yeah.
take a leave? Actually, I have to some work. I will join or see the recorded session.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, no problem. So you can, yeah, not a problem. Okay, anyway, these recordings will be available anyway in the US payroll, and it is a continuous thing. I'm not saying this is a final thing because every topics in my platform is a continuous learning. Okay, so you can always go there, and you will be whatever at present we are having. We're just improvising the second version, third version of that. Okay, I will be keep on adding new things. Okay, and specifically for any country payroll. Okay, whatever I'm going. So it will be available in the US payroll mastery itself. Okay. And this will be not going to your YouTube anymore. And here now onwards, you can see here we have 2 things, Texan and garnishment. Yesterday I have already uploaded, so I just rename it. And today's video will be uploaded here. Okay. And upcoming sessions, whatever we are conducting and all, it will be going here in the implementation track itself. Okay. So in that track, you will be able to see all the recording sessions anyway. But whenever you'll be having your data and everything, you are ready. Okay, let me know. Okay, and that we can revisit. Okay, and we can put them in another tab called hands-on kind of a stuff. Okay, but today whatever we are seeing this is more from a configuration implementation configuration point of view. Okay, once we have data and all those things, again we may revisit all these things, and that I'll be expecting from you once we're ready and all. Okay, then
Yes,
again we will be
I want some
Yeah,
time to ready the system because
no problem. Take your time. As I say, right? I'm not in a hurry. Okay. But for the timing, you just understand the concept at least so that you can crack your interview. Okay. That is my intention. Okay. So understand. so that at least you can claim or you can tell those things in the interview process just to make you confident. Okay, that is why
Okay.
I'm showing this configuration, showing these secondary waste types list, showing those features or schemas, schemas and all, so that you will be familiar. Okay, that is the
Okay.
interview. Okay, got it?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome then. So again, let's connect tomorrow if possible. And again, we will be continuing with the same. We will be covering a topic called accrual. Okay. So this is again an interesting topic. We will be seeing tomorrow and we will proceed accordingly. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay then. Yeah, we'll stop
Yeah.
here and see you tomorrow again. Thank you very much for joining in.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you.